Friends, welcome to Mind and Intellect Conversations. The International Yoga Day is going to happen on the 21st of June, and it is a global spectacle. And in this episode, we want to debunk and clarify the misconceptions of yoga. Yoga is a fascinating discipline, but let us understand yoga in its essence and let us debunk the myth surrounding yoga and what and how yoga should be practiced. That's the focus of this episode of this special podcast. So stay tuned. You're going to learn a great deal about the right approach to yoga.
Raji Vivek holds a Master of Science in Yoga from S. Vyasa University, Diploma in Yoga Therapy from Yoga Vidya Gurukul, and B.E. Hans Computer Science from BITS Pilani. Thoroughly convinced that yoga, along with a whole food plant-based lifestyle, helps in the prevention and reversal of diseases.
Welcome, Raji, Vivek, and I'm glad that you are a yoga practitioner. You've been teaching yoga for quite some time, and you're also done your master's in yoga philosophy. And and you've been attending Saritaji's lectures for some time now. So that's how we got introduced. And yes, glad that we are starting the International Yoga Day podcast with a seasoned yoga practitioners. So thank you and to be a part of this, Raji.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sarita ma'am. It's been a pleasure. I'm very grateful to come across your organization, Mind and Intellect. And I've been doing Vedanta Treatise, the book reading with Sarita ji on Fridays. And it's really life-changing. So not only myself, but also my students benefit with the everyday Friday book reading. And so much we have learned. And I could really integrate the yoga and the Vedanta in my daily classes. So it is really, it's really useful and effective.
Correct. I agree. I'm glad that you are having this thought process. Not just that, I did a podcast with your daughter who spoke on how the youngsters have an influence on the higher values. And again, she attends Saritaji's lectures, which is wonderful. So mother-daughter duo, I guess, in the spiritual journey. Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that, Raji.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we thought we will deal with for the International Yoga Day. Let's understand it in the right ways. So I thought, let's dive into the questions.
Yeah, the first question is, what does International Yoga Day mean to you? And what is its significance globally? Why is it significant?
It is significant. It has become significant globally now. And thanks to PM Modi to make it a global spectacle. And the reason being, yoga is one of the greatest contribution India, the country Bharat, contributed to the world. And it is meant for one and all. I'm sure in your classes you have people from various nationalities who attend and who get benefited. So it is a great contribution to the world. And number two, yoga, the practice of yoga helps in the well-being of an individual at all levels of the personality. At the material level, when they pursue karmayoga, there is prosperity. At the health level as well, the physical body level, emotional level, at the intellectual level, spiritual level, it seems to benefit an individual at all levels of personality. Therefore, to highlight that in International Yoga Day, even if it starts with the asanas, slowly and slowly, the world will wake up to the real essence of yoga. So this is one, and my assurance or the confidence I have is anyone who aligns with the yoga practices, with the yoga philosophy, one is they will experience harmony with the world, and the even better thing is they'll experience peace within. So the practice of yoga and the understanding of yoga philosophy, it's going to create both ways externally. With the world there is harmony and tranquility, and within there is peace and contentment. So isn't it something which should be globally highlighted? That's the reason, So on the yoga day, it is our opportunity to pay our respects, our gratitude, our reverence to the great lineage of yogis. Even though Patanjali gave the Yoga Sutras, it has been improved, developed by great number of yogis, a galaxy of teachers. So let us use this opportunity to offer our gratitude, our thankfulness to this great lineage of teachers. So in that way, it plays a very significant, important role in our the process of self development. So I am very happy that there's an International Yoga Day, and in so many countries it is celebrated. So and that awareness does wonders. So that's all that you need is a mat and an instructor. If you have learned from an instructor, still you can do it in using. You don't need expensive gadgets. It is something which can be handled by one and all. So very happy that an International Yoga Day has been constituted, and then it is celebrated globally. And so in that way, that's why a great contribution made by the Indian yogis to the world. Shouldn't it be celebrated and and let more people get benefited? That's our wish and a blessing, that more people should get benefited. And if they can live life in a better way, why not?
So true. So true. Now, every single household, there is yoga,
Correct.
yoga teacher in every single community.
Correct.
And the yoga is spreading worldwide. And even the doctors, they
Correct.
prescribe yoga as a therapeutic tool.
Correct.
So the outreach is more. Thank you
Yes.
for explaining the significance. That's wonderful. So I would like to know, what are some common myths about yoga that you would like to debunk?
The misconceptions, in fact, there are plenty of misconceptions. I wouldn't say misconceptions, ignorance, because yoga is being understood more as asanas, exercises, more for the physical well-being. They want to lose weight, or they want to look better, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. But it's like the yoga, the path of yoga is like it starts with the fundamentals. Like from kindergarten, it takes you to the PhD. If you have done your masters in yoga philosophy, you know how much it conveys. So most people are stuck at I would say, the primary school. Nothing wrong with asanas, fabulous, very, very important. Breathing and all that is such an important exercise. But it's like a person who is comfortable with the primary school and doesn't want to go to the secondary or the undergrad and the postgrad and the PhD. It's like you have stunted your growth. If you can get benefited immensely. So the misconception is Hatha Yoga, which is the yoga of compulsion, which is, that's when it's called, in some aspects, they say Hatha means compulsion. By compulsion, by force, you got to take care of yourself well, the physical body, by force. Whether you like other aspects or not, by compulsion, you got to take care to sit comfortably, to sleep in the right postures, or even you could be sitting in a place, but if there is aches and pains, you're gonna not able to concentrate. So Hatha Yoga was suggested as compulsion, because if you want to be in the path of self-evolution, if the physical body affects you, you can't take up to it properly. So by compulsion. So the myth is the yoga starts with it, but don't end with it. Take up to the next one, karmayoga. Karmayoga gives you the blueprint of right action. It helps you to understand what is the course of activity I need to take. It is, if only youngsters take up to it, the path of karma. Karma means action. Karma yoga is yoga of action. And if they take up to it, it is fabulous. Next is another aspect of the yoga is bhaktiyoga. Bhakti means devotion, yoga of devotion, where you convert or where you deal with your emotions gracefully, properly, whereby you have all emotions, but you will never become emotional. There is this, see, most people they are a victim of their own emotions, anger, jealousy, fear, all that. These are some of the negative emotion. When you become, if you don't know how to handle your emotions, you become emotional and you suffer with it. The bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion, helps you to deal with your emotions gracefully. As a result, you will develop compassion, gratitude, forgiveness. So many beautiful qualities are inculcated. So that is bhakti yoga. The next one is the what we call as jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge, where you use your intellect to strengthen your clarity in thinking. So it is where in all the scriptures, any scripture you take, or any great works of a master, it is giving you clarity in thinking. What does Patanjali's Yoga Sutras highlight? It gives you absolute clarity. As far as asanas are concerned, or your mind is concerned. So it is to debunk the yoga philosophy, or the bring in the better understanding of yoga philosophy. Yoga is designed for all aspects of the personality. For the physical body, there is asanas, breathing, and various other techniques provided. And for the for your action, there's karma yoga, where it will help you to enjoy work, to make you not just prosperous but also peaceful. And for your mind, bhakti yoga, where you inculcate pure emotions. You're almost knocking on the doors of divinity. That level of purity you will develop. And for the intellect, the jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge, whereby you are in a continuous process of learning, becoming a better version of yourself. As a result, the intellect becomes sharp. There is no ignorance. There is no misconceptions. You don't take anything for granted. So that intellect is powered with jnana yoga, your path of the yoga of knowledge. So all that I would suggest is, look here, take up to the hatha yoga, which is very, very important. There is no two ways about it, but there is much, much more. In education, primary school is good, but there's much, much more. You can even become a teacher in the school. I mean, if you have done your PhD or so, don't get stuck to one stage or one area of yoga and consider it as another an end in itself. There's far more to it. So, in this International Yoga Day, in our podcast, we want to create that awareness that there are other aspects of yoga, and you got to take up all aspects accordingly. You got to do the yoga for the physical body. You got to do for your actions, for your mind, for your intellect. All these things put together helps you to get to the state of dhyana yoga, which is meditation. That's another aspect. So this is what we want to highlight in this path. So if we are able to debunk that misconception, I think we have done a great deal.
Completely.
Yes.
Agree. I always tell my students that asana is just an entry point into the yoga. The physical body, taking care of it, it's just the entry.
Correct.
But the yoga is a lifestyle.
Correct.
The way you live your life, way you interact with people, the awareness with which you handle life. So there is much more, and all the entire spectrum of yoga should be known to students.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Coming to the next question, is yoga inherently spiritual? What is the true meaning of yoga?
Right. The yoga is inherent. It is spiritual. Anything which deals with the individual is making you a better person. So it is in a way connecting with the spirit aspect in us. It is making you purer, genuine. So yoga is spiritual, but even if it is the physical level, you will find it makes you more calmer. There is that the breathing is in proper. Breathing becomes proper. Therefore, you are able to think better. So a spiritual person is one who is gaining clarity in their life. And the true meaning of yoga, that's what is important. The yoga is a Sanskrit word derived from a Sanskrit root, yuj, meaning to join, to unite. When they say you have to join, you have to unite, it means you're separated. I mean, if you're together, where is the question of I need to join? And then there's no question about it. The word yoga derived from the Sanskrit root yuj means to join, to unite, to come together. So it means we are separated from our source. Since we are separated from the source, to all attempts, all effort to get back to our source is called yoga in Sanskrit. So getting back to our source through the use of physical body is hatha yoga, yoga of compulsion. Using your physical body, again actions, you are getting to the source is called karmayoga, the yoga of action. And using your mind, the emotions, your feelings to get back to the source. We are separated from the source. To get back to the source, using your mind is bhaktiyoga, the yoga of devotion. And using our intellect, the buddhi, to get back to our source, gaining that clarity and getting back to the source is called jnanayoga, yoga of knowledge. So we have the physical body, mind and intellect. So yogas, or the 4 yogas are designed for these 3 equipments which we have. So that's the true meaning of yoga. We are separated. We are not yet one. So to all attempts to retrace ourselves to our source is called yoga. So you can perform it through your physical body, through your actions, through your emotions, and through your intellect, through your thinking. And all that, that's why I have known, don't get me wrong, I have known many yoga instructors, teachers who have done a great deal of work. Still, they tell me that they're not able to control their cravings. They're not able to deal with their possessiveness. So that's why we are saying is the subtle controls the gross. The gross has an influence over the subtle, meaning a good physical health definitely helps. But it is a pure mind and a sharp intellect which controls the situation. An example is you could be sitting in a fine dining restaurant, but you had an argument while coming up to the restaurant. You can't enjoy the meal. No, everything is perfect. The restaurant is beautiful, the view is great, and they're serving your favorite food, but still you can't enjoy. Mentally you're disturbed. So that's what we are saying. It is the real yoga. The true meaning of yoga is to get to your source. And when you function through your physical body, through your actions, through your mind and intellect, you will definitely become far more aligned with the inner personality or the real personality. And then there's calmness. That is when the real silence, even in meditation, they say it leads to a dynamic silence. It's not the external silence, a dynamic silence within. So that's the true meaning of yoga. We are trying to highlight that through our classes. I'm glad you're attending Saritaji's classes as well. And the youngsters, you'll find the youngsters are far better. They are more in control of their emotions and thoughts. So this is all the starting stages. But once intensity picks up, we are a different individual altogether. So I hope it answers your question.
Yeah. So now yoga practitioners, how they can relate it to their daily work. So what's the relation between yoga and the work they perform on a daily basis?
Right. I'm glad you're asking this question because 9 out of 10, yoga means asanas. Yoga means there must be a yoga studio or there's a yoga studio or the mat, all that is fine. The yoga for your action, karma yoga means yoga of action. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, there's one entire chapter 3, dedicated to the karma yoga, explaining what kind of an action you should take up to. This is not karma as in the law of karma, but karma literal meaning is action. See, I keep asking youngsters, they've taken up to one particular activity. What has propelled you to take up to whatever you're doing? They don't question much. Does money play a major role in the work you do? Does it decide what work you should take up to? Nothing wrong with money. But does money alone decide what work you should take up to? I keep asking them, number one. Number two, are you following a herd instinct? Everybody is doing MBA, therefore I do. Everybody is doing software engineering, therefore I'll also do software engineering. Are you following a herd instinct? It may not be the right kind of an action you should pursue. Or family pressures. The person wants to be a musician, but the father is as an entrepreneur. He has a factory and 100 people working. What you want to create music? There's this organization I built up. Family pressures. Have you given in to family pressures? Or some people is lazy thinking. They just get into a college, they study, and there is a campus interview. They attended and they got selected and they got into the job. There's not much constructive thinking. Is this what I want to do? So many people take up to that work that way. And as a result, is it the right thing to do? So how yoga can relate to our daily action? See, there's this statement by Shakespeare in the play Hamlet. He tells the Polonius is an elderly person. His son is going to university, and he gives a certain advice. At the end of that, and it's a small portion. I'm sure your daughter would learn from Saitaji's classes. In that advice, he says, "To thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man." He says, "Be true to yourself." Are you being true to your conviction and your conscience? Conviction is a strong thought which says, "This is what I want to do." I mean, not as a rigid or an argumentative way. There's something which tells you this is the kind of action, the choice of work I want to take up to. You're quite convinced with it. Other is conscience. There is this little bird. There is this inner voice in each one of us. Hey, people will say, "You want to do that? Are you sure?" But within you, something tells this is the right thing to pursue. So, being true to oneself in what is it I want to do, and if you're able to do that, it's fantastic. It is as Confucius makes the statement: take up a work which you wish to do, and then you don't need to work a day in your life. If you take up a work which you absolutely enjoy, then you don't need to work a day in your life. And so it's like that. And even Steve Jobs says, take up something which is inherently your interest, and then you will flourish. And even in the movie Three Idiots, if you have seen, he says, take up something which you like and excel in it. So in Sanskrit, in the Bhagavad Gita, it highlights as Swadharma. Swa means one's own. Dharma means nature. So each one should take up to an activity in line with their nature. In line with their nature. So when you take up to that, and then you excel in it, give your 150% to that activity, and success will follow you. Success may be delayed, but it will never be denied. So, the way karmayoga highlights is it is better to take up to swadharma and then one's own nature, and then pursue it. It's not just taking up to it, but you are pursuing it in the right ways. That's why, I made a few points, but I thought I should say a few other aspects. Why Swadharma? If you're spending 10 to 12 hours a day at work and 6 days a week, some people 5 days, some people 6 days a week, shouldn't it be something which energizes you, motivates you, inspires you? Now, my guru used to say, do you look forward to Monday mornings or Friday evenings? Or there is even restaurant, thank God it's Friday, TGIF. Now, do you look forward to Monday mornings or Friday evenings? Or do you look forward to the weekdays or the weekends? Do you look forward to the day of the vacation or the day after the vacation? Well, you should go for vacation, nothing wrong. You should enjoy the weekends, absolutely okay. But if at the cost of the weekdays, oh my, Saturday, Sunday afternoon onwards, you are stressed out. Monday again, the work starts. So what we are saying is, it is better you take up to something which is your swadharma. Karma yoga helps you to identify what your swadharma is, helps you, gives you the potential, the confidence, the self-esteem to pursue it, and then also helps you to keep you consistent in that path. As a result, you can be happily successful. The only way to be happily successful is to take up something which you innately enjoy. There are many people who are successful. Whether they are peaceful or happy is another question. What is the point in being very successful externally and being very miserable internally? So it doesn't help. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 3, verse 35, I'm just reading it, and in the translation, Lord Krishna says, better is Swadharma, though devoid of merit, than Paradharma, alien nature, well discharged. Better is death in Swadharma, Paradharma is fraught with fear. Who says that? A person of the caliber of Lord Krishna. He says, Paradharma is fraught with fear. I mean, you take up to an activity which is alien to you, which you don't really like, which you don't really enjoy, but you're pushed into it. It is fraught with fear. Why? You won't be content. Even a small stress looks big. Any kind of a challenge is, you buckle, and you're going to have friction with people. The teamwork may not be right. So you got to be careful. That is why it is the statements, right? Confucius, I'm repeating it. Choose a job you love, then you don't need to work a day in your life. Some of the greatest sportsmen, artists, or painters and all you see, they absolutely enjoy what they do. Money is a byproduct or an add-on to it. So, therefore, choose a job you love, then you don't need to work a day in your life. Steve Jobs quote, follow your heart. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Follow your heart. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. And my guru used to say, Swami Parthasarathiji, if I have learned anything, it is through him. He just turned 98 yesterday. Can you imagine? A person who has imbibed yogas in the right ways. So all the 4 yogas, Hatha, Karma, Bhakti and Jnana, to the pinnacle. He used to say, he says, if you can't find happiness through your work, if you can't find happiness in your work, you will not find it anywhere else. I'm sitting here having this conversation. It is not work. If you can find happiness, joy in the performance of your work, then you found it. If you don't find that in the work you do, you will never find it anywhere else. Then you want to run away from it. That's the reason they prefer weekends and vacations. That's why nothing wrong with weekends and vacations. You should have that. But you are craving for it. You're waiting for the weekend. Then something wrong with the way you're taken up to work. And there's a great saint by name Swami Ramatirtha. He made a fabulous statement. He said, intense work is rest. People think there's some printing mistake. Intense work is rest. He says. For us, no work is rest. Intense work is rest. So, if you align with the principles, the suggestions of karma yoga, you will never go wrong. You will enjoy the work. You'll be more productive. You'll be more prosperous. And you'll be content. And at the same time, you're leaving a legacy. Anything you take up to paradharma, which is alien to your nature, something within you is getting depleted, dejected. So that's the reason people opt for early retirement or nothing. See, you can retire at any time, but if it is your swadharma, it's you keep getting better and better and better. So in this yoga day, International Yoga Day, my humble suggestion to all youngsters: be true to yourself. Follow a path which you think is going to resonate with your inner calling. So, dharma is you are allowing your inner qualities to express externally. You see a musician, see a sports person, an entrepreneur, their inner qualities, their innate nature is expressed through the work they are doing. That's their offering. In fact, that's when work becomes worship. So it's a beautiful way to live life. If 8 to 10 hours a day you are spending at work, shouldn't it be something you enjoy? Karmayoga is the way for it. I hope it helps you.
So beautiful. This concept of Swadharma and Paradharma really resonated with me when I was studying Bhagavad Gita. Having worked in IT industry for 15 years, I understood though that work is giving me joy, following my own nature, I analyzed my strengths and weakness, and I understood helping people is that's the core work I would like to do. And when I shifted, as a yoga therapist, working with people, it's like I look forward to my Mondays.
Wonderful.
Suddenly the whole life becomes like a vacation. So I totally understand when you said that follow your Swadharma, because it takes a lot of deep introspection. It is not easy to
Correct.
switch at some time, but such scriptures and teachers like you give us strength to follow our heart.
Thank you.
Right?
We say, find a vacation in your vocation.
Yeah.
Vocation is a work. Find a vacation in your vocation. Then it's different. But I'm glad that you took that plunge. Not that easy, because 9 out of 10, the fear of failure, of what others will say, they become a victim of it, and then continue, and then continue to suffer. Eventually, big changes happen with major decisions. I'm glad you took it.
Yeah.
Glad.
Thank you. So with the next question, how does yoga influence mindfulness and emotional resilience?
Excellent. In fact, yoga alone, which in this context, what you call is bhaktiyoga. Mind is in a bhaktiyoga. Bhakti means devotion. Yoga is the union with the divinity through devotion, which is propelled by your mind. So, bhakti yoga, mindfulness and mental resilience, the emotional resilience is such an important quality. If a person's emotion is all over the place, they can get into enormous trouble. So, devotion, how bhakti yoga helps. We discuss karma yoga. Now, bhakti yoga, how it helps is it helps you to inculcate pure emotions. What is devotion? It is a pure emotion arising from your mind. It's a feeling of oneness, feeling of compassion, feeling of gratitude, respect, reverence to higher level of people. Meaning, when we say bhakti, or to your parents, to your teacher, to the Almighty, to nature, any source which is beyond your existence, beyond your mundane levels. That's when the parents, they brought you to the world. So, the pure emotions to all these sources is bhakti. The same kind of a feeling of oneness, compassion or forgiveness to our own level, and lower than that we call as love. Love or devotion is the same emotion. If the same emotion is directed towards higher beings, it's called bhakti, devotion. When the same emotion is directed to your level or lower than that, you may love your pet, you may love your car. In the sense, the pure emotion directed to your own level of people or lower than that is called love. So, bhakti yoga works beautifully well in inculcating these emotions. A few aspects you want to debunk regarding bhakti yoga. The bhakti in the Asian context is considered as prayer. There are people, they consider, he's a great devotee. You want to clear some misconceptions. Number one, prayer is not beggary. Most people who go to a place of worship, you find people outside the place of worship begging for alms to you. And we go inside the place of worship and begging to God, to the Almighty. This has to be done, that has to be done. And why are you testing me? Why me? It is a constant requisition letter sent. It's a beggary. In simple terms, prayer has become organized beggary. And bhaktiyoga highlights prayer is bhaktiyoga helps you to inculcate pure emotions. That's why I said gratitude and reverence, respect. And as a result, when you go to a place of worship, there are 100 things to ask, but you refuse to ask. You express your thankfulness, your gratitude for all that has been provided. If it is given, you are thankful. If it is not given, still, you're okay. There are 100 things to ask, but you refuse to ask. It is, that's why, so all that we are saying is Bhakti Yoga helps you in inculcating this pure emotion. Like Karma Yoga, one entire chapter is there in the Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, there's an entire chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, which talks about Bhakti. And it'll be interesting. Not many take up this portion, which is 35 qualities of a Bhakta, 35 qualities of a devotee of the Almighty. And you'll be surprised. There's not one quality in it which says how many times you go to the temple, what are the mantras you know, can you chant it well. It's all pertaining to the inner qualities. It's good to chant and it's beautiful to listen to chants. I mean, I'm a big believer. You should listen to chants. But if we can chant well, but that bhakti bhavana is not there, the attitude is not right, then of what use is this? Your vocal cords become better. It is so. There are 35 divine qualities of a bhakta, of a devotee. The first quality is adveshta sarva bhutanam, which means no hatred for any being. First quality of a devotee. If a person claims to be a great devotee, first quality he or she must have is no hatred for any being. Not just human beings, any being. Why we are saying is there are people who say, I love all except my mother-in-law. I can deal with everyone except that boss of mine. They see, he doesn't say in the 35 quality, he doesn't say you should love all. He puts it in the negative context. No hatred for any being. There's also a statement, the strength of a chain is its weakest link. The chain has all solid steel links, but there's one plastic link. That is enough to snap. Similarly, you may love a lot. You may love many people, but there's one person you absolutely hate. You can't stand them. That one person is enough to destroy your peace. The strength of a chain is its weakest link. This is one. The second aspect is, another thing we have to debunk as far as bhakti is, most people are appreciated for being God-fearing. There are very few who are God-admiring. They are not almighty admiring, nature admiring. Most people are God-fearing. In fact, they say it is portrayed as a great quality. He's a very God-fearing person. Why should you fear? Would you want your daughter to fear you or adore you? If any parent says, I enjoy, the moment I go home, my son is petrified of my presence. He just runs away. There's something wrong. You, as a parent, you want your children to gravitate to you. You want them to sit with you, joke with you, play with you, not be fearful of you. At times when they make a mistake, they are, but most of the time they are fearful. Many people are God-fearing because there's something they have done. Therefore, they are fearing. If there is nothing to fear, if you have done most of the things right, where is the question of fear? So, this is the one. There are, as I mentioned, the 35 qualities, and few of the qualities. The first one is adveshta sarva bhutanam, which is no hatred for any being. Many people are knocked off on the first quality. When I read that, I'm talking about 25 years ago, I said, I don't need to go through the other 34. First quality itself, we are knocked up. Somebody, something we hate. There's another aspect, as we say, begging to the Almighty. See, all our life, we are begging for something. When you are 10 years old, you are begging for, I need to get this toy somehow, or at the age of 20, you're looking for a university admission. At the 30, you're looking for your own found partner. 40, there's a big project. 50, my children should be join good university. 55, I hope they get married to the right person. Begging doesn't stop. What you're begging for keeps changing at all stages of life. That's not prayer. The second aspect is it is not the number of people whom you love, it's the number of people whom you hate that matters. These few qualities are taking up. Other quality in the one of the 35 qualities from that is nirmama, meaning free from attachment. One of the qualities of a devotee, if anybody claims to be a true devotee of the Almighty, they are free from attachment. Most of the so-called devotees are riddled with attachment. So, and that is one. And then another quality, santushta satatam yogi. This, a bhakti yogi is one who is ever peaceful and content. Ever peaceful and content. And another quality is forgiveness. Shamaha. It says acceptance and compassion. So these are all some of the, I'm just highlighted 4 qualities. Another 30 qualities more. 31 qualities more. Can you imagine if you inculcate all these pure thoughts and emotions, the mind becomes purer. And when you go to a place of worship, there is just thankfulness, gratitude, there's smile, there's joy. And where is the hatred? Where is the negativity? So, my vision and the suggestion on the International Yoga Day is adapt to the bhaktiyoga, yoga of devotion. You will have all emotions, but you will never become emotional. I hope it helps you.
Thank you. Now, coming to the compassion and contentment, all these qualities, how does the yoga philosophy, like yamas, niyamas, apply to our modern life?
Great question. Because in the moment yoga philosophy, then the yamas and niyamas, Patanjali's works are highlighted. In fact, if you ask me, it applies far more in the modern context than before. At least previously, they were a little more compassionate. Now, the 5 yamas, which in the 8 limbs of the Ashtanga and the yoga, this is yamas and niyamas are an important part. The yamas highlight the certain qualities to be, values to be inculcated. I'm just reading it out. The 5, you said, is it pertinent now? See, what are the 5 yamas? The yamas literally means ethics, value systems, moral disciplines one has to adopt in life. So it provides values which are eternal. And that's why I say it applies now even more. Therefore, yamas, what are the suggested 5 value systems? One is ahimsa, non-injury. Second is satya, truth. Third, asteya, which is non-stealing, non-coveting. Brahmacharya, right use of energy. And aparigraha, which is non-possessiveness. Doesn't it apply now? Ahimsa. It applies even more now. You're a vegan. It is based on the principle of ahimsa. Ahimsa is, since you're practicing veganism, what is ahimsa? Ahimsa is not mere physical injury. Ahimsa is a refusal to think anything negative at the level of your thoughts, words, or actions. What a fabulous quality. You refuse to think anything negative, derogatory towards yourself or towards others at the level of your thoughts, words, and action. Isn't it applicable now? Sometimes you see the young children, They're so violent. Ahimsa. It's not that non-injury. It's not that I'm a vegan and I hate all other meat eaters. No, it's not. Ahimsa is refusal to think anything negative, derogatory, wrong towards yourself or towards others. I can think negative about myself and harm myself or towards others. Refusal to think anything negative is ahimsa and satya, the truth. It's not just speaking the truth, living a truthful life. Asteya, when I say not stealing, you're not jealous of what others have. Brahmacharya, it's not being a literal meaning is celibacy, but the right use of energy. And aparigraha, you refuse to develop possessiveness. You have all possessions, but you don't develop possessiveness. That is the yamas and niyamas, the internal disciplines. First one is more of the ethics and value system you adopt. Internal disciplines, saucha means purity, cleanliness. See, they say if you're not aware of the external cleanliness, if you're not aware of the external dirt around you, how will you be aware of the internal dirt in you in the form of thoughts and desires? So first become external discipline, become aware of the external dirt around you. Then santosha, contentment. Contentment. It's not just happiness, contentment, which is a fabulous quality. And another external discipline, or internal discipline, tapas, right use of energy at all levels of your personality and giving a proper direction. Swadhyaya, self-study. I keep highlighting, very few people do self-study. If they study, it is in newspapers or, all, it is, where is the self-study, knowing about ourselves? Last one, Ishvara Pranidhana, which is devotion and surrender to the Almighty. So these qualities are very pertinent. That's why it's called eternal values. It was, by definition, eternal means that which is applicable in the past. It applies very much in the present. It will continue to apply in the future, be valuable in the future. So the Patanjali Yoga Sutras and Yamas and Yamas, all these were the eternal values suggested. And once you inculcate that and then get into the asanas, there's a certain sense of calmness. You're not excited. I have known some people while doing asanas, their tears flowing. Nothing, they're processing something, but there's a calmness. You feel much better, grounded. So it immensely helps. In fact, in chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita, there are 20 qualities of a jnani given. In that, the first quality of a jnani is humility. He doesn't say how many texts he has mastered, how many years he has studied under a great guru, no such thing. The sign of wisdom in an individual is humility. A person would have achieved a lot but very egoistic. You'll always find those who are achieved a lot and then humble, they attract a lot of people. Why was Abdul Kalam the most revered president of India? Not just because he was a stupendous scientist, but he was the most humble person as well. So that combination is beautiful. Therefore, the sign of wisdom is humility. So all that we are saying is, all these is going to help. Absolutely going to help. So that's how all these, it's very applicable in the present, and we have no choice but to adapt these values in our life and improve our lives.
It's a beautiful explanation. I always say this yamas and niyamas, it's like a framework for our daily living.
Correct.
Even the children need to be educated on this. Am I true? Am I true to myself? Am I content? Am I trying to, how many toys do we really need? Is it all the toys? Is it making me happy? So this yamas and niyamas is applicable to all age group throughout our life.
Absolutely.
And this is eternal, as you just explained. Thank you. So grateful for all your work that you're doing in the field of yoga, Vedanta. So what is your vision for the future of yoga in the next decade?
our vision, the our institution, Mind and Intellect, would sincerely wish and help people inculcate all aspects of yoga in this decade and the decades coming up. Take up to the hatha yoga, which is very important by compulsion. There is no two ways about it. You have to take up to asanas, pranayama, breathing, and all aspects of it. Veganism, you have to take up to it, but also embrace karma yoga, the yoga of action. Also, aligned with bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion. Also, bring about or that clarity through jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge, because all what the world needs is holistic wellness, not just the physical body is kept well, but internally it's crumbling. So you need a person who physically fit, enjoys work, has pure emotions, has clarity in thinking, and is harmonious with one and all. Our vision for the mind intellect's vision for the future of yoga, this decade and the decades to come, is embrace yoga in its entirety. Hatha yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and observe your constitution, observe yourself, and take up to it accordingly. Some people are more inclined to knowledge. You need more of jnana yoga of knowledge, and some people are more emotion oriented. They need bhakti yoga, but each one needs this combination of these four yogas. And if you understand yourself and take it up properly, there's a phenomenal evolution, self-evolution. You become the best version of yourself, and such a person becomes a fabulous example for one and all. And that's the legacy you will leave behind. Therefore, our vision for yoga in this decade is we all can live great. We can live your life in such a way. There's grace, there is grandeur, there's prosperity, and you have left a legacy where you have inspired one and all. So that's what the mind and intellect aspires to achieve. And I hope we are in the path. And this International Yoga Day is a platform for us to highlight this message, and genuinely people who should take up to it. And it is for their own benefit. So thank you very much, Raji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
It was wonderful to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.